Most people only see the winning shot, the trophy lift, the handshake at the center court, but they don't see what happens after the applause stops. They don't see the loneliness of being 32 weeks a year on road, the pressure of playing for ranking points that determine your entire livelihood, or the psychological cost of a sport where you lose more often than you win. My guest today is Maryna Zanevska, former world number 62 in tennis, who competed against the best players in the world, including Grand Slam champion Aryna Sabalenka. She has sacrificed discipline, the obsession, until one day her body said it was all over. And sports psychologists say that retirement from an elite sport can trigger an identity collapse similar to grief, because athletes often don't just lose their craft, but their sense of self as well. Maryna didn't just face that collapse. She is rebuilding herself from it today. And today, she's an entrepreneur, a mentor, and a woman learning to build a life not defined by rankings. This isn't a conversation about tennis. It's a conversation about identity, endings, reinvention, and what happens when the thing you thought you were born to do suddenly disappears. Just before we proceed, I just want to let you know that more than 80% of you who watch the show have not subscribed to the channel yet. It would be lovely if you could, and I'm only asking this because it helps me create episodes like these that provide the most impact and value to you, the audience, and allows me to do my job to the best of my abilities. So hit that subscribe button on YouTube or follow button on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And thank you so much. Let's dive right into the episode. Maryna, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Actually was excited to come and talk about life. I'll see where it all will go.
Yeah, definitely. How does it feel being in front of a camera you've been in front of a camera, I'm sure, but like after your playing days, doing like a podcast kind of a thing in person?
Yeah, I feel like a little bit excited because, and a little bit maybe even nervous.
Okay.
Because, and I didn't have this feeling for a long time because, like with the tennis, you always have this press conference, interviews, some photo shoots, some podcasts. But then as soon as I stopped, I had like few of obviously after, to talk about my career and the ending, and then done, like everyone forgot. So then you're like, okay. So when I met you, I was feeling like, okay, maybe it's a sign to do it again and just to talk about whatever you want to know.
Yeah, it's so funny because when we met in Jumeirah John's running club, when you mentioned, I used to be a pro tennis player, my mind was like, oh, okay, that's so cool. But I didn't know the extent to which you were a pro tennis player until I asked you, what's the biggest match you played? And you're like, I played Aryna Sabalenka at the US Open. I was like, oh, did you? Oh, God. But no, this is so awesome that you're here. And I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, sometimes, people ask like, okay, what do you do? And when I mentioned that, I used to play tennis, some people like, oh yeah, me too, I play tennis. And I'm like, and they're like, okay, maybe you want to play one day? I'm like, yeah, sure. So it's just sometimes funny. And then when they find out that I was like, it was my job. Like, oh, okay. So then just funny how people react.
Absolutely. So I start with this question very often. If you stripped away all your tennis success, right? Rankings, trophies, all of those kind of things, how would you introduce yourself today?
Da-da-da-dum.
And that's what we do here.
I will be honest with you. I'm still struggling with that. Like, obviously, I could tell you now, like, I'm Maryna. I'm wife. I'm a friend. I'm a sister. I'm a daughter. And I'm a great friend. And, that's it. Like, that's basically who I am, right? But because all my life I've been a tennis player, and when people were asking me about me, it was like, hashtag I am a tennis player. And it's so difficult for me, to put this apart, and I'm working on it because it's a little bit still like a problem when, people ask what I am doing, and I'm like, but I cannot talk about like that I'm ex-tennis player. I'm done with tennis for 2 years, so I think now I can move on and create my own identity. But that's not easy, and I think this is I would think that this is the biggest issue for athletes who don't find themselves right away after their career, to have this to kind of get to that point when they don't talk about themselves anymore as a tennis player. So who am I? Yeah, you see, I'm still struggling.
Yeah.
To tell you. Actually, it's more like because I used to be so good in what I was doing in my job as a tennis player. Doesn't matter what I'm doing now. I'm thinking that's not good enough. That's not good. It doesn't matter. Whatever I will do, I always will compare my big career to who I am now, and that's why this should change definitely. Some work with psychologists,
Yeah. No, I know we were speaking about this off camera, but obviously I can relate to this heavily through my cricketing career and when it stopped. Obviously not at the same scale as what you experienced, but I think it's irrelevant what level you play if you play a sport at a high level, because when you stop, you stop. Right? So you dedicate your life to this one thing, which you get super good at. And growing up, what's fascinating is as athletes, we are trained to do that one thing very good. And we don't think about everything else around it, which is, so growing up, like during your teenage years, my assumption is tennis was the thing. Studies, yeah, you'd study, but okay, it's like a secondary thing. Tennis number one. I'm gonna make it, whatever. Whereas other people or other teenagers would be, okay, how do I get good grades so that I can get into university, so that I could get a good job? But for athletes, it's more so you're tunnel visioned. It's just one thing.
One way.
That doesn't allow you, or didn't allow us, I would say, to actually explore other things, which is, there's a pro and a con. The pro is that you're so locked in that you actually do well in what the sport or whatever venture you're trying to do. But the con is that you're kind of screwing yourself up by not giving yourself that extra room to do. But then there's an argument to be made that if you want to achieve that high performance, world-class level, you have to dedicate yourself to it.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be an opportunity cost at some point. It's like a weird irony. And you just, it's one or the other. You can't have both.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've played tennis for 22 years and I truly dedicated all my life to it. I've left Ukraine when I was 11. So basically, I started tennis when I was 8, and then at 11 I left. And I used to, traveling everywhere for finding my coach, lived in different countries, working with different tennis academies, and it was all for my tennis. And so even the school was online,
Even back then?
Yeah, and then sometimes, in Ukraine, it's a little bit easier to find a way how to manage things. But I was basically going for I did online school.
Yeah.
My mom helped me as well. And then I was coming to Ukraine a few times a year and doing this tests right away online, basically with, and not online, offline, so we were making a dates for me when I could come. So I had a little bit luxury situation, but it was, everything was around tennis. All my dreams, all my goals was I never thought of what else can I do. And I felt for many, many years and that I was sacrificing a lot. And that was a difficult part. I feel like when I realized that I'm not sacrificing, I'm actually getting much more out of it. Then that was the moment when I was having a good results in my career. And it was in very, very end, just the last few years when I played my best tennis. This is the moment when I realized my life is great. Yes, it's tough. Yes, I didn't see my family. I didn't have childhood. I didn't have teenager time. I didn't have parties, New Year's, birthdays. My first birthday I had when I stopped my birthday party when I stopped tennis career and I turned 31. And this when I made a big birthday party. So these things I was looking back and I thought I'm sacrificing a lot. But in the end, I have chosen to be a tennis player and to make my dreams come true in this field. So when you have a big why you are doing it, for what, then your mind starts to change from that's not sacrifice, this is what you want to do. So, but it took me a lot of years to get to that point. So
I actually love that, knowing your why, because it's perspective, right? You're going through it. A lot of times, like me with the podcast, for example, leaving my job, I have to sometimes be like, okay, yeah, it's tough, but I chose it. It's it's me who chose to do this. So why are you crying now? Or like, look at the fact that, for example, we were talking about Formula One, right? Had I been at my job, wouldn't have been able to go, for example, because I love the sport, whatever. And then just because I have this podcast now, and it's so funny, the way I got the tickets was because of the podcast, indirectly. I actually went to find a studio in Abu Dhabi for the guest I'm filming with tomorrow, but that was closed. So I was like, oh, okay, now what do I do? And I was like, oh, Yas Mall has a like a co-working space that also has a studio, supposedly. Let me go check it out. I go to Yas Mall. I go up the escalators. There's a Yas Marina Circuit kiosk. And it said like, oh, buy your tickets now. I'm like, wait, the race is tomorrow. Like the weekend starts tomorrow. So what do you mean? And
that was
I'm
a
like,
destiny.
So I go up to the guy and I'm like, I just shot my shot. I was like, do you have any tickets? Like, do you guys have any tickets left for the weekend? And they go, give us a sec. Had a look. Oh yeah, we got a couple actually. And I'm thinking obscene prices at this point. Like,
yeah, that's what I thought.
20,000 dirhams. Like, and they had those as well. But this guy was like, yeah, like 1,000 whatever or something. I was like, what? How'd you have tickets? Like, yeah, I just snagged them. Point being, it was because of the podcast at the end. It was the fact that I have a podcast and I went to check out a studio, but the studio was closed. That made me think of a podcast studio in Yas. And it was all because of that. So I sat down yesterday. I was like, this is good. Like, what?
Your why brings you lots. Definitely. Your why is like brings you lots.
Yeah.
Like, that's for me as well. And I know it doesn't matter. Like now I'm not in tennis anymore, but this was one of the biggest lessons I've got, that when you know your why, like really nothing can disturb you.
It's so true, but I wish I knew that when I was playing a little bit deeper, because I feel like I didn't have that perspective even when I finished. I didn't have it. So now when I look back, if like I feel this void, this like what could have been, and I was just like, oh, like that's it's hard to keep it with you, knowing that you can't go back and change it.
But it's easy. It's always easy to say, right?
Yeah.
Even
in hindsight,
like, it's really important to know your why. It just, you really need to feel it. Like you really need to experience it.
But how did you get to the point of like, I need to understand my why?
There is a story.
There we go. Let's do it. Story time.
So let me go back to. So I stopped my career in 2023, and basically the last few years, like maybe in 2018, 2019, I dropped in ranking. I was really struggling with few injuries, and it was really like tough period. And then getting closer to the end of the 2019, I also lost my main sponsor because I mean I don't know how old I was, but like I didn't show the results. I was a prospective future superstar, but I didn't make it. Like, and I was really struggling with. I didn't play much because of my injuries. So yeah, the result of that, like I lost my sponsor, and then I didn't have any money. And tennis is an expensive sport where you paying for yourself, for your coaching, traveling, everything. And basically, I hit the wall in a way of understanding, okay, well, what now? Because I don't have money. I don't have body, like healthy body, because I can't really practice and compete. And I was not even liking to play because all this was, I had like a mess in my head. So for me, then the COVID hit. And for many people in the world, that was a big problem, disaster times for most of people. For me, it was the best time of my career and of my life, because first of all, this is when I met my husband now. So I had my time to build my private life, because as a tennis player, you're always traveling lots and you never have time for your private life. And here, I was finally home, and I was getting to know my boyfriend back to that time. But also, I had time to heal my injuries. I had time to recover my mindset, and actually to come to my why. What do I want to do? Do I really want to do it? Why did I do it before? If I stop now, how would I feel? And a lot of obviously questions was coming up. I had a very good mentor back to the time, and he gave me, some keys, some tools, and then with that I was, working around. But for me, the main thing was, if I all my career, I was feeling that I was doing it not for myself. I was doing it for my parents, to please, to be that good student, to do it for my parents, for the fans, for the sponsors, for whatever people, what they say. I'm a perspective future star. So I was dealing with all of that, but I was really forgetting about myself. What do I want? Do I really like to play tennis? And then when it was a moment, because I could stop in that time. First of all, I didn't have money, to go in for tournaments. And I was like, okay, do I continue? And if I continue, I will do it my way now. And from that moment, it was 2020, summer 2020, when the tournament started to go slowly, starting. I basically started from zero, but I started to do it because I wanted, because I want to go on court and I want to fight for myself, not for sponsors, not for anyone else, but for myself. I want to enjoy this process. So I kind of got to that point, and that's helped when I realized that I'm doing it for myself and not for anyone else. Then that's gave me a big click. And from there, it's starting to be better. But I felt like the moment also when I started to put goals which depending only on me, which I can control, then it's starting to be also some improvements in it. Because I remember with this mentor, I was sitting and he was like, okay, you write down now, why do you do that? And then I had this trouble, why do I do that? I was just starting to cry. I was crying so much because in that moment I realized that I don't write because I love tennis or because I want to do it. It was always about other people. And then the second one was what is my dream? What is my goal? And a lot of goals were about the result. Let's say a win Grand Slam, a win a tournament, a win to be top 100, in the world. For most of the tennis players, this is the first goal.
Yeah.
You feel like you succeed in tennis career. But this is not only dependent on you. There are lots of other aspects. But what is depending on you of how you show up in the morning on trainings. If you're not 100% today, but you're, let's say, 50%, you're still showing up and giving your 100%. You still try to be, not try, but you still be positive with yourself. It's easy to say, just as I say,
it is very easy, yeah.
But when you start slowly to change your mindset piece by piece, it doesn't take like this. That's the pity part about all of this. It took me 20 years. Let's say it took me 18 years to get to the mindset, which is started to help me to win matches and get to my closer goal and my dream, which I achieved when I won my first WTA title, getting into top 100. But I felt that it's funny, like that was my goal, but it was somewhere behind. My first goal was to be healthy, to enjoy what I am doing, to give my best on every training, to adapt to my new body because I started to have more injuries. I started to practice less. I started to, work more on my mindset, on myself off the court. There's like lots of aspects. And the funny part that I didn't achieve in tennis because of tennis, it was more because of how I was starting to manage my life off the tennis court. You asked me about why, and I came up with a huge things everywhere. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like sometimes when talking about my career or mindset, doesn't matter in whatever you do, even if you're a businessman or athlete, the mindset is everything. But it doesn't build overnight, unfortunately.
No, and that's the thing, right? Your mind's your biggest asset at the end of the day. But our society sort of dictates, these badges or accolades that you achieve, and that's what is important, not your mindset. But what I loved you touched on was the variables that you can control versus the external variables. I was having this chat with my sister the other day, and I was like pissed off. I was like, oh my God, like what's happening? And she goes, is it in your control? I was like, nope. And she goes, so
yeah.
There you go. I was like, oh, good to know that. But it's hard to do it in the moment, especially as a player where I understand how your parents or family and everyone else who supports you to make you into the star that you could be, you want to do that for them. So at that point, like, you start a sport because you love the sport, but at one point it ends up becoming a job, and it's almost like you're just it's like working any other job in the world. Like, you wake up, you go do it, and you're like, not feeling it.
It starts very early in your age.
Yeah. Does it? How so?
Well, my mindset was already when I was 13.
At 13, you thought that?
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be for my parents, like everyone involved.
Yeah, it was, I never thought like, I'm going to do it for my parents. I had my own dream and goals. But it was like basically when it became my mindset that it's my job and
that was at 13, you were like, this is my job?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Also, because I had, I always had a sponsor, like, who were supporting my career through all my journey. And one of the first sponsor, he was a businessman in Ukraine, and he was really a businessman. He didn't have like a mindset of the athlete, and it was sometimes rough with that. But he was making me, which was wrong, completely wrong. But he was the way like this. That's why he was a good businessman, I think. Like, but he was making sure that at 14 I'm already number one and making all the money of the world, So that was a pressure. I remember my mom will never forget that. I was turning 14. There was a cake, and I was making a wish, and I was crying, literally crying, and I was crying, and I was saying like, I don't want to turn 14. Please, Mom, just take this cake away. Like, I'm saying now, and I have goosebumps because I really take myself to that moment, like, and she was like, well, what's going on? I'm like, I have to earn money. I need to be number one, and I'm not, and I don't want, like, and but that was that sponsor who put this in my head very clear. There was a lot of pressure, and
wow.
I was not understanding. I'm like, I love tennis. I want to play tennis.
Yeah.
But I had to deal with other things on top. I was my 14.
Wow. It's almost like trauma in a sense, where you're like, I don't want to grow up because I know what's going to come with it, and I don't want any of that.
Yeah, and then it was affecting a lot the rest of my career because with this mindset, I was growing and I was afraid to lose because, I mean, losing meaning you're failing. Failing, that's bad. That's it. And that was, again, another point when I realized that when I started to tell myself that it's okay if you lose, totally fine. It's a part of your journey. Just you need to give your best. This is number one. And then you need to learn from your mistakes. And then next day you are on the way back, you're starting to practice again with analyzing what you've done wrong and you move on. And it's not the end of the world if you lose. But for many, many years, I had this mindset that if I lose, it's the end of the world. And I was not learning from it. I was just thinking that I'm a bad person, I'm a bad daughter, I'm a bad tennis player, obviously. Like I was putting all in one bag, and that was too much. But that's starting from the very early age, when you put some seeds slowly, and then it grows into something nasty. Yeah. So I'm very proud and I'm very happy that I still could manage to change that. Not fully, because that's a reason why I was also not number one in winning Grand Slams. But I was still making changes. I had a very good coach. He was very he was making sure I'm getting to that point. I think he would never let me down. He's until I will find this way how I can manage and get to this mindset. He was annoying in that. But yeah, I'm happy that at least I could slowly getting into that mindset and changing it a bit.
That's a lot of pressure, especially at 14. I'm trying, when you were saying that, telling me that story, I was just thinking of what I was doing at 14. I was playing, there was pressure, but it was almost self-inflicted pressure because I wanted to do well and I wanted to make people around me proud. But the sponsor stuff, those external pressures, I didn't have that. So it kind of made me just relax a little bit, albeit it was a tense environment. I'm just trying to think, if you add the sponsor and these extra things, oof, that's a hand. But is that just how do sponsorships work back then? Like, why was it so intense apart from the business side of things?
Well, I started to work with my first sponsor when I was 11 because and I started tennis at 8. So it was not so many years I've been playing, but I was quite good. Like, I don't know how I just started to play well and being good in my age and improving. And I was lucky. I appreciate what I've had because if I would not meet him, if I would not start to work with him, you never know how my career would go because my parents, they couldn't really, the sport is very expensive. You cannot just start to travel and live abroad and practice and everything. So with him, I had a contract for 10 years, but this is a crazy story.
A 10-year contract at 11?
Yeah, because he knew I'm going to make millions. He really put everything on me. And that's what I felt. I was like, what if not? And that was.
And did you have a chat with him? Like, what if not? Or was that ever discussed?
I was 11.
Your parents or.
I was just playing tennis.
I know.
I was somewhere behind my back. I was realizing that it's not many people know the story, but the story is big because at 11, my parents signed the contract. Now, I think now I can tell the story after many years. You will be your first one.
Okay. There we go.
So they said because I was not, how you say in English, but I wasn't 18 legal. So that was my parents who signed. And the contract was that basically, he's sponsoring me and that it would work with a percentage. Back to that time, it was that, let's say I play a tournament, I win, there is prize money is coming. Until the moment I give him all money back he invested in me, he takes 75%. and I take 25. The moment when, let's say it's equal and I gave him all money back, he invested in me, that was changing. So it was 75 for me, 25 for him, as I remember. And when I was about to turn 18, he wanted to resign the contract because it was not like legally I'm turning 18, and then this contract, it just, it's not like real, let's say, But he invested in me already, like a good 700,000, 600,000, like lots of money. But when you know this, like it was intense.
Yeah.
And so it was a new contract. And the thing is that because I was okay, like my parents was good to sign, that I would sign too. I mean, I was understanding that this is my like a key to that I continue my tennis career. But at 18, sorry, I'm just trying to to remember the story because it was for a while. At 18, he gave me a contract which I had to, I had from 11 to 21. But then at 18, he gave me a new contract, which he extended for another 10 years to 28. So he changed the contract and he changed the percentage. And in the contract, I couldn't choose where I live. I couldn't choose if I want to marry. I couldn't choose to have a baby. I couldn't choose absolutely anything. And in that moment, I'm turning 18. I love to play tennis still. I'm not the great, like I don't remember which ranking I had, but I remember that at 19, I played, I think, my first Grand Slam qualification. So I was around 200 in the world. So I was, like
high.
Getting into it. I'm not like as expecting to be a superstar, but I still wanted to play tennis.
Yeah.
But with that contract, my parents told me like, look, you decide. I mean, you can, but we cannot give you, unfortunately. Like it's a very expensive sport. So, and I told them, look, when I saw the contract, I was like, I will hate this sport if I will sign this, and I can't decide anything. And like it was too much. And I said, I better stop tennis. Then I signed these papers. So I said no. And then the problem started because he was a very important person in Ukraine. So I had some problems. We had some people with guns. They were coming to our apartment. They were putting some pressure on my parents that I should sign the contract. That was like a big thing. So I said still, no, I will not. And he started to sue, like we went to court because basically what he said, okay, now give me all the money back, which I invested in you. But by the contract, everything was really not official. Like it was like a big mess there. But so for another 5 years, we were fighting in the court because he also made like a lot of more. He put much more money that he actually did invest it. So it was like a big thing and a lot of pressure. I was afraid to go back to Ukraine because you never know if, I don't know, whatever happens,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had to keep going to play tennis. And I had to kind of, finding the way with the financial as well. And so that was another moment when I tell you, I was very lucky with people I've been meeting on my journey, with the tennis coaches. Really blessed. And a lot of people were just not my coaches, but more than coaches, my friends and like my mentors, and who wanted not just that I succeed in tennis, but just be happy as a person. And so then I started, I called one coach and I say, look, this is my situation. I have no money. And I was back to the time already in Belgium. And I am trying to find a way. I don't know which way, but I'm like, do you have any ideas? Like if I can practice, I don't have money, but what do I do? So he helped me. And for the first, I remember 3 months, I was practicing for free, and 3-4 months. And in this period of time, I had to find a sponsor. But it's not like coming outside and like, hey, I'm looking for sponsor. So there was some context, but I still had to prove why would someone invest money in me. And I still had to keep paying for apartment, like all my life back to that time, in Belgium. And I remember my dad, he sold his car, and so that was another kind of, pressure, because so they had only apartment and the car, and my dad just sold the car and they gave me money, and it was only for not like 3-4 months, if to invest, to go for tournaments, to pay the coach, because obviously, the coach helped me, but it has to be, the coach has to live their life, right? So with those money, I paid the coach, and I was traveling to some tournaments. That was one. Another sponsor, like businessman from Belgium. And that was a moment when like I could kind of, have my chance to show that I want to do it. Please help me. And I don't know what happened to me, but I started to win absolutely every match. And we went with my coach to 4 tournaments in the row. And then back to the time, it was already professional tournaments. It was 10K and 25. So it's like the lowest of ITF prize money is 10,000K. And
for winning the tournament.
No, well, the prize money is of all tournament,
total,
and then when you win, maybe it's like $800 or something. Not much, but it was more for the points. I needed like ranking.
I gotcha.
So I went closer to Belgium. It was 3 tournaments in the row in France, and I'm winning the first tournament. I'm winning the second tournament. I was injured. I was sick. I was like, I don't know. I was completely broken, but I knew this is my chance to kind of show my potential new sponsor that, look, I really want to do it, please. But obviously you need to show also some results. That's how I put myself into this situation. And then I won these 3 tournaments in the row, coming back to Belgium, and there was a bigger tournament, beating great players. I don't know how I did it. I swear, now looking back to that, I'm like, wow, that was pretty impressive. And winning 4 tournaments in the row, and then I got a call, and this Belgian sponsor, he's like, I'm ready to help you. And so it was different contract. It was definitely
I was just going to ask.
It was more like civilian. Like it was really good one for me, for them. Well, in the end, of course, it didn't turn out as we wished. But I will be forever grateful that, he appeared in my tennis career, and he helped me through. I'm thankful to every person who were on my journey, whatever it was, a problem or another problem. But, you grow with, no matter which situation you're facing, you always, if you take it correctly and right, you always can grow. So... yeah, and basically this sponsor in the Belgian one, I had another 10 years contract. So this is how it worked, again, with a percentage. And but as I told you earlier, then they decided to stop with me because for whatever, many reasons, I guess I wasn't good enough. I was not showing the results. And that was probably the moment when I thought it was the end of the world, because what do I do now?
Yeah.
But in the end, it was the best thing what could happen to me, because in that moment, I really asked myself a question: why I'm doing it? For what? Do I want to continue? If I continue, how I want to continue? And then things starts to change, because I started to do it for myself, first of all. And I was like, starting to be more responsible for my own life, my days,
Wow. That's a story. That's a lot to go through. Because as you were narrating that, I was trying to just be you and experience it. Whew. Like there's so many moments in there where it's like, it almost felt like it was do or die. literally and figuratively, both. But you managed to keep going through or kept pushing through.
Yeah.
But like, because there are days where, let's say, you have like these threats potentially, right? Like you mentioned, like they would keep you awake at night. You know what I mean? Or like you're just unsettled. If something like that happens to me, not necessarily where armory's involved, but let's just say things are like, it just rattles me. I can't sleep. Like it's always at the back of my mind, and
Same.
whatever you do, you kind of like, how do I don't know how I'm going to be optimal or a high performer in it, but you still manage to push through. How did you do that, or what made you be able to do that?
Now looking back, I again will repeat, I was very blessed and lucky with people on my way. My parents, for sure, they were the ones who, we had our difficulties parts, especially in the very beginning of the career. My mom is like very, strong woman. If you're not number one, that doesn't like, that's it, like the end of the world.
Yeah.
So, but then things changed. She grew as well. She was growing up with me, like, we were becoming stronger and better and more like experienced together. And luckily me, they were there for me with a big support. Then of course the coaches I've had always they were like giving me such a support. And then lately in my most this decisive decision day, when I was do I play, do I don't, what do I do, then when I met my husband back to that time, he gave me a lot of winks of love, so it's really, it motivated me. He supported me as emotionally, financially. He gave me this, he's like, just try, just do it, like, so it just happened that yes, I was having struggles with maybe other people, but I always had people who were helping me. So I think that's the main thing. It's so important to surround yourself with the right, healthy mind people. I don't know honestly how to do that, because some people, just meet wrong people. I mean, I guess those wrong people are also good for us in a way if we're taking it correctly and we learn from it. So I will not find you an answer how to find them, but just kind of, I was blessed with that for sure. Of course, I won't hide from myself, like that I was obviously strong enough to go through all this. I'm very patient. I'm very like, if I do something, if I start, I will finish it. It was funny, like, for just a simple example, now I started to run. It's another story, another topic, why I'm doing it. But there's actually some things behind it. But just to show you how fucked up, sorry, I can be.
You can be explicit. All good. Yeah.
I was running with my husband like few days ago, and it was so very hot. I don't know, we decided to go to run on the Palm, and it's 2 p.m. and I was like, so hot. Why usually running early morning
in Dubai?
But we're like, it's okay, December already, so it should be fine, which was a big mistake. And I didn't eat anything before. Oh, I don't know why. Just okay, we were like, okay, we go for a 10 kilometers run.
10K at 2 p.m. in Dubai?
Yeah, and
okay.
And I was like, after 5 kilometers was fine, and then I'm like telling him, like, I don't know, I feel like it's tough, like it's burning, it's hot, and he's like, it's okay, we can stop. And I'm like, no, like if I said we run 10, we run 10. I'm gonna die, but I will do it, and this will be always forever in me. And I didn't need to kill myself that day. Like, there was no really a big why. Why would I do this to me? I could even maybe hurt myself in a way, like, like too much sun, and why would I do this? But just because this is like, if I do it, if I start, I finished it. And I think this helps a lot in the athlete's career.
Yeah.
That you're having this character to start something and really like you do it again and again and again. You fail, you get up, you continue to do it. And, you know, you like being a little bit kind of a stubborn in achieving your goal. This is very important. And I have it. Naturally or not, I don't know, but maybe I learned.
Could be through circumstance, but one of the things, when you play sport at a high level, you almost have, not just sport, I guess, any successful person, in order to achieve that success, right, you almost have to be crazy or delusional. Like in your mind, you can see it already happening, right? Which now people call it manifesting or like manifestation and stuff.
Popular word.
Very, right? But you almost have to be delusional. And I've had so many instances where things have worked out because of how deluded I am. Where my mom and dad or my sister just go like, what are you talking about? Like, how is that even possible? And it happens. And then they're like, oh shit, wait, what? And I'm like, I'm also saying to myself, oh, wait, what? But in my head, I'm like, no, but I kind of, I can. I just know I can. I don't know how, but I can.
Do you have it? Did you always have it in you?
No, it's come recently.
That's that's a question. Like,
recent, yeah.
Can the person teach this? Learn
you
this?
Can. Yeah.
Because
but you have
came as well for me.
Yeah. And it's the way, how did it come for you? Then I'll tell my end as well.
I would say the repetitions.
Okay.
Maybe this. And then the surroundings, yourself always with a competitive people. I'm not a competitor. I was born not competitive.
Same.
I was afraid of doing things, of learning new things. I was like kid who was afraid of everything. And in tennis, you cannot. Like I mean, it doesn't matter tennis or not tennis, but like it's my example of tennis that I had to be competitive. I had to like. I had to like to compete. I hate losing. Hate losing is a good thing for not like afraid of losing, but like just hating losing. You know, like do you like more to win or do you hate to lose? You know, like there's like
that's a good way to put it.
And somehow it's starting to just show up. Like I think just years and years in this competitive world. And it's interesting that now it's showing up even more. No matter what I do, play cards with friends, I go to wake surf, I go to run, I'm like, I need to do it.
Yeah.
I need to do it. I cannot do it again. And again, you know, like recently I started to do wake surfing. Like I am afraid of water. I'm afraid to swim. But I'm like, why I have to face this? Okay, I will do it. And though I faced this and I felt 100 times before standing on this board. But this feeling like,
once you achieve it,
I will do it. And then you did it. And I'm like, it's so good feeling.
Yeah.
So I believe you can learn.
100%.
So
I agree.
From my side, more repetitions. What about you?
For me, it was COVID, which was a very good time because it actually allowed me to just sit with myself and my thoughts. I never used to read. I used to read comic books, but never read anything. I couldn't read fiction because I was like, I'd rather just watch a movie.
Yeah.
Like, or because I'm a visual guy. I need imagery. But I came across a couple of self-help books and like financial books and stuff. All of a sudden I was like, this, let me just give it a shot. And when I did, I was like, oh, this is good. Like, I don't know why, and that's how I started. And I had a couple of experiences where I spent some time in COVID with a few businessmen. like super successful. And the thought that came to my mind is, this is outrageous. This is not an average life. This is like elite. What's the difference here between an average person and this, right? Like, what's this gap? And I started thinking, I'm like, sure, it has to be like mindset wise, but also actions wise. It's two different things. Actions wise, it's like, okay, you can't do it with a job. You have to do your own thing where you're fully invested in your business, whether that's as a player, whether that's me having a podcast now that converts into something, into a media company, I don't know, right? But it's mine and I have control over it. When you work for someone as a job, you get paid a salary. Like and with inflation, everything, that's just not possible now. That was one. But mindset wise, I was like, most people are just happy with, like, okay with their life. There's no drive. They're just stuck in this rat race of 9 to 5, done. 9 to 5, done. I'm happy.
We're all different.
But then from the cricketing side, the sporting side in me, the high performance side, I'm like, I'm not okay with that. So I'm like, okay, if I've gotten from 0 to 10, for me, it's like, okay, how can I get from 10 to 20? It's just this default setting, because as an athlete, you reach a level, but then there's another
always
level to it.
Non-stop.
And then even if you reach the highest level, you got to stay at that level.
Yeah.
It's one thing. There's this question we used to, one of my coaches in Australia asked me, he's like, do you want to get to that level? Is that the goal? Or is the goal to stay at the level? And then I was like, oh.
Yeah, because to stay, then you need consistency.
And that is just, that's its own game.
That's another level.
That's a whole different level. Because there's so many sub-levels you got to unlock within that. So in COVID, that's what I realized through my cricket. And I was like, okay, no, mindset-wise, there's this thing of belief that you have to have in yourself, which is like you're mad. You're crazy. You look at Apple, right? Steve Jobs with MacBook, iPhone. He was like, I'm going to give people internet in their hands. Everyone was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, but it'll happen. It's almost like this. You just foresee it and you just play it in your head. But then there's neuroscience backing it, is what I found out. This was this year I found out. There's neuroscience to all of this, by the way. Like, it works. There's a reason manifestation isn't voodoo. It's a real thing.
Tell me.
You code a computer, right? A software?
No.
Your brain is a software. And you got to code it. But your brain can't tell the difference between what is real and what is not. That's sensory.
Yeah.
So if you feed it stuff which hasn't happened, why do bad thoughts become a reality?
It happens very often.
Why? Because subconsciously, you're already in that. You've coded your brain with this negative stuff. And subconsciously, you start taking actions which lead it towards that thing, the negative thing or the event. But when it happens, you're like, oh my God, why has it happened? But it's been building, and you just don't know. Now
very often it takes some time,
yeah.
But then it's like a seed is there.
Bingo. So you sow the seeds, which use the analogy, same thing in your brain.
Yeah.
So now if you flip it towards the positive, optimistic side, works the same way.
Yeah.
So if the Formula 1 ticket stuff that I mentioned, it's happened to me twice. 2021 Abu Dhabi, really wanted to go. I wasn't desperate. That's the difference. I wasn't desperate, but I really wanted to go. I'm just like, wish there was a way, but it's okay. But in my head, I was just like, I got free tickets for it. Very good, like crazy expensive. And I was just like, the day before I was flying from Canada to the UAE, got it. And I was like, wait, what? And then the second time it happened this time. And both races were very, they were a big event because championship decided whatever. But the whole, to go back to the idea of how you can sort of implant, when I saw those businessmen with that mindset, it was almost like when they were speaking at client meetings or like, because they were all just indoors, so I had access. It was like, oh yeah, we'll just do it. I'm like, but how are you going to do it? That was never discussed. It's like, we'll just do it somehow.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's this weird, like, you're just delusional at this point. You have these things cooked up in your brain which haven't happened, but your brain thinks it's happened. So then then you subconsciously figure out a way to do it. So I was like, oh my God. Then I started watching a lot of self-improvement, self-development podcasts or listening as well. I came across a couple which, Alex Hormozy. I don't know if you know, he's a entrepreneur kind of a guy in the US, and Stephen Bartlett, who Diary of a CEO. They say, when you look at successful people, in order to get to that success that they have, delusion is one, but the self-belief those guys have in themselves is sky high. They have so much self-belief that makes them delusional. So it's the self-belief piece. So I was like, how do you get to that delusional point? Like, I could just say, oh, I want to have $10 million in my bank account. But is that realistic?
Do you believe you can learn how to believe in yourself?
100%. But to your point, in repetitions. So it's identifying that, which is the biggest piece. Like, oh, I got to work on my, my presence, let's say, or my self-belief over here. I don't think most people even get to that point.
Yeah.
But for me, I've had it because of my cricketing days. Because you just there's no way you're going to climb up through the ranks if you don't have the self-belief. It's pretty easy. But and I wish I had those ingredients, self-belief, delusion, all of it. But I used to think that's only cricket. I didn't know I could use the same stuff in my life, in other aspects. So what am I doing now? I'm just unlocking and everything that I had from there with some new, spice it up on top and bring it over to my current life and use it now. So I'm just doing exactly what I did, but in a different aspect. But that was never taught to me. That was just experience. So you can, and it's just a way of how you see it. But now I'm super blessed. Even on my worst days, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm good. This is good.
Self-belief is so important part. And this is what I'm lacking the most. Like, I had always a problem to believe in myself.
Yeah.
I
have a very good exercise for this.
Give me. I mean, I've tried so many things.
So we don't give ourselves enough grace. Us as human beings, we're designed in this weird way where we never give ourselves grace of, you're doing well. Pat on the back. No one does that to themselves. And the other day I was speaking to my dad and we were just going through stuff and I had this weird epiphany in my head. And all of a sudden, like, everything that I've done in my life sort of just flashed. All the good points. And then I sat back, I'm like, wait a second. Like, if you in hindsight go back and look at your life and your achievements in your life, you've done it all before. You have done it. The blueprint you're looking for is within you, actually. It's not anywhere. You don't need to go. It's there. It's in your past experience. But realizing that, and I was like, whoa, hold up. It was just like a poof in my head.
Not everyone can get that.
But it was because of the books and everything that I read that made me come to this conclusion of, oh, I did. Okay, at that point, like, well, I was like, okay, this was this year. So I'm like, okay, I'm 26. I used to have this thing, I need to retire my parents. I need to do this. I need, financially be independent and I just went, I was like, a plane just was ready. Before it took off, it crashed, basically. I was like, how? Okay, this is not going to work. And And we attach ourselves to money too much. So I kind of just put that aside and I'm like, wait.
People around us.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So I'm like, where I am now. And the society is so fast paced. Everything now, you have to achieve success ASAP, right?
Yeah.
People are like, oh, I want to be an overnight success. Most overnight successes are like a 10-year overnight success. So when I sat down, I'm like, okay, I'm 26. But okay, let's just do a recap until this point. Okay. I've lived in 7 countries. So I've had to go through so much cultural shock. And but that's not just me. Everyone goes through some sort of a change. We have 7 countries. I started playing cricket. I was not talented. No, I never had like the natural gift of, or like that guy's just God gifted kind of thing. Work hard. Okay. Played for the UAE. Okay. Phenomenal. Great. Okay. Moved to England as well. Played over there. Nearly made it. I nearly had a contract ready to go, but there was some legal issues. And and this was out of my control. And this is where it hurts me the most.
Yeah.
It was out of my, because I couldn't do anything. It was all legal, like days in the country, all those kind of things. I was like, oh crap. Nearly had the contract, couldn't do it. Okay. But I still got to that level. Moved to Canada, went to the best business school in Canada. I never thought I could. That change was also pretty wild.
Big change.
Yeah. And that belief was because of the COVID experience.
Yeah.
I was like, who gets into these top business schools? Why can't I do it? And that was the mindset. And when you actually look at it, it's just confidence and your ability to bullshit. I swear. That's all it is. Obviously, you have to have like decent grades, but it's how you sell yourself or market yourself. So did that. Okay, great. Got into a very good job. That people would like, give up so many things to do that. And I resigned to start my own thing. So okay, that's the journey up until now. So when I sat down, I was like, okay, this is someone else's life. How would I see it? If this is not me, it's someone else. Someone else has lived this life, and that's not me. I've just taken myself out, zoomed out. And I'm just like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And wow, okay. All right. So there's so much substance in there now that I can definitely leverage into this whatever next phase that's going to come. And that has been the game changer. But that's only been the game changer for 3 months because I only realized it like 3 months ago.
But that's, as I say, not many people even come to that point.
No. And that's why the podcast, because I love this stuff.
Hear different
sides. And the thing is, you capture it then. It's there. It's always going to be there now on the internet. So if anyone listens to this, even for me, just saying all of this out again, it refreshes it for me. Like, okay, we good? We just keep going, same thing. And the first place to look for an answer is often within you rather than external. And that takes time, but that really helped me. And like with the story you just said, I'm sitting here thinking, wow, that's impressive. And there's so much, and that's what I was going to say. Like, you've done so much already. You have the ingredients ready to go, whether that's with your business that you're starting with, or like that's ongoing, whether that's trying out different things. You have the core.
I honestly think when I stopped tennis, only afterwards I realized about my journey. When during my career, I was always believing it's not enough, it's not good enough, need to do better. And it's kind of normal in sport world, as you were mentioning it earlier. You achieve something, next day you try to achieve next level. And it's like nonstop. You win a tournament, next day you're already on another one. You lost a match, next day you're already on training and practice for preparing for a next match. And it's always like go. You reach the top 100. Now you want top 80, top 60, 50, 20. Like there's always these numbers in your head if we talk about numbers. And there was never a moment when I, only like during the COVID, when I was like, okay, I slow down and see where I am now, where I was, where I want to be, how I'm feeling about it. And so during my career, I was still always like so focused on the process and never realizing how amazing I was actually doing. And when I stopped, year after, I was, processing everything. And now I'm like, wow, what a journey I had. I'm so proud of myself, of everything I've done, achieved. Even all those fails, how I went through it, like,
yeah.
But it took me a while.
It takes, yeah.
Maybe I'm regretting that I didn't feel the same way during my career. Maybe it was giving me some actually confidence, because that was a problem.
Yeah.
I felt like, why I was not better than what I achieved. And I think it was about this self-belief.
There's a saying, like, people are like, oh, when people look at the past, they're like, oh, the good old days, right? Oh, those were the golden days or whatever. I was watching a podcast and they basically were like, people always say that, the good old days. They reminisce on the good old days in the past. You're actually in the good old days right now.
Yeah.
And that perspective for me is like, And I've had that always. And I don't know how I had it. But it's like, I just have a blast regardless. Like, you only live once. Like the quote when I sent you the rundown, at the end there was a quote.
Yeah.
You only live once. Why settle for mediocrity? That's the motto. Like, why? And that's why, like, I love how you're trying different things now, like business, running, wakeboarding. Wake surf. I really want to do it. Like, you just try. Like, just do it. You know what I mean? Like, what's there to? And when you do it, you're like, whoa, that was pretty fun. And you've kind of done it. You know what I mean? So, and that's the thing. I really wish to teach this, or people can understand why it's so important to actually look within you first, rather than just chasing these external solutions. But with athletes specifically, that's a huge issue, and also the younger generation these days. Like, they're not it. They don't get it. They don't even touch the surface of themselves.
Comes with the age, I think. Like, I believe so. I don't know. It's tough to.
Yeah, it's tough to sort of.
Unless, again, depends which surroundings you have around. What kind of parents you have. Like, if your parents are also in this mindset of focusing on yourself, becoming better, just each day, and to be here now, to be in present and everything, like, that I think also, if you have an athlete, what kind of coach you have, with which mindset, that can help to be in this mindset of a champion, let's call it, faster.
I want to get into your career, like playing career now. When you achieved, how long ago was it when you achieved 62nd?
I think it was in 2021.
Oh, fairly recent then. Fairly recent.
Felt and like another life.
Yeah. And we were speaking when we met that you played in the US Open 2023 against Sabalenka. What was that like?
I honestly will tell you how it was before the match.
Okay.
First.
Walk me through that day.
Back to that time, it was already I knew it's my last tournament, but I knew, basically I decided to end my career in February, and my last match was August, September. I hit again the wall. Like I ended my career because of problem with my back pain, back problem, and I was for many years playing with this pain. The last 2 years was playing only with the painkillers, practicing maybe 1 hour a day, not more, because I couldn't really live without painkiller. Playing tennis, it was even worse. So I arrived to America for Indian Wells and Miami. We arrived with my coach much earlier, like 10 days before, a week before this, because, with a jet lag, practicing, preparing. I didn't practice even once because I couldn't move. I had foot problem and back problem. And I was like, okay, I've been patient enough. I've done so much. I've tried, but I cannot this anymore. So I've played in Dunwell somehow. I played Miami. Then I came back home and I had the talk with my coach. I say, look, this is not emotionally. I came to this point. I'm gonna say goodbye to tennis this year. And as my ranking was still good, could play main draw, Grand Slams, I'll just play the tournaments. I will say goodbye to every tournament I can play. Enjoy the times as much as I can. Try to play and, adapt and manage it. But my goal was not anymore to win, to succeed, to perform. I just wanted to try to say goodbye to tennis with smile and just a lot of good memories on court and obviously off court. So played lots of tournaments before US Open, and then US Open came in. Was
that the only US Open you've played, or have you played?
No, I
before
played many times.
Okay,
The year before I played main draw, I won first round. And then before I qualified a few times, I played many times, maybe 7-8 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Main draw last, like maybe 3 or 4. And so here I came to US Open, my last tournament. Tell you, I was practicing 1 hour a day in the early morning because sometimes it's difficult to get courts. I wanted to practice only on, big court. I was managing my days, like in the beginning of the day, let's say 8 a.m. practice, 9 a.m. like 1 hour. Then I do physio treatment. By 12, I'm done. And I was doing sightseeing, tourist. I did helicopter around New York, walking around restaurants, cafes, like really being a tourist, but just only like not getting too exhausted, but like enjoying. I was with my husband there. So it was just time for myself. And I honestly was hoping, because I was not in the mode of perform, like I didn't feel well. I moved badly. I had pain. I didn't practice. I didn't feel like I'm in a good shape. So I was like, I hope I will have a draw, which is against someone where I'm gonna be on the last court somewhere there. I never had this in my life. That when I was really asking for a good draw was in my head, kind of like, you're always hoping like every nice draw would be nice, but you're not really like extremely focused on it. And there I was extremely focused because I knew I'm not in a good shape. I didn't want to play a big player on a big court because I don't want to be ridiculous, like kind of those thoughts. And you see what happened? I exactly, how to say, I don't know in English, but like manifest the situation.
Yeah.
And then I didn't see the draw, and I started to receive messages like, oh, hey, what a draw. Oh my God, I'm meeting from France, people I know, I don't know. Like, I'm like, oh my God, who I'm playing? Then I open the draw and I'm like, seeing Sabalenka, and I'm like, exactly what I didn't want. And it doesn't matter if it was Sabalenka or Swiatek, Goff, or like any seeded players. Like, I felt like I'm not ready. Just let me go from my tennis career, but just a little bit quieter,
Yeah.
But then it happened. So I knew this is completely wrong mindset. So I reacted right away like, okay, meaning there is a reason for this. Like, let's just go for it,
all,
Like, let's just go for it and see. In the end, it was a good match. I was, of course, super nervous. I couldn't, because I was not playing so many matches in such atmosphere. For her, it's normal to play with stadium full of people, music, this atmosphere. For me, it's not every day I'm playing on courts like this. And when we were warming up, the music was so loud, I couldn't hear the sound of the ball. And for me, this is a rhythm. I need to hear the ball, but I couldn't hear the ball. Everything seems so like big, so little, like it feels different. And then it's your last match of your life, like of your tennis career. So, but she was probably nervous. I don't know why, but she started pretty bad, like in a way for number 2 in the world. Like her serve didn't work. She was doing double folding, and I was not as well, like super nervous. So, but in general, the match was better than I thought. Great atmosphere. Lots of people were cheering for me. That was nice. In the end, like I'm happy it happened that way, because that was a little bit maybe silly to think, why would I leave this sport on a small stage, like
go with
bigger,
a bang.
like go bigger, So I'm happy that I could change this mindset and being very happy that I left Armstrong Court and not like court whatever 25. But what a experience.
Yeah. And I was there.
That's so
I was
funny.
actually at that. Yeah, that's so wild.
I hope you cheered for me.
I don't remember. That was my first time watching. Now I do.
No, but actually,
but I had no idea.
Very often, people cheering for underdog.
Yeah.
I was like, people didn't know me, and
when I went there, I remember. So my uncle, who lives in New York, he loves tennis. So I'd just gone from Toronto to New York, and he's like, "Come for the US Open. Come for the US Open." I was like, "Let's do it." Went there. I knew some of the players, but I didn't know a lot of the players. Sabalenka, I didn't know, to be honest with you, at that point.
Really?
No. It's only after that US Open I got the bug. I was like, okay, I like tennis now. So now I watch tennis, and it's so fun. Before that, I'd obviously Nadal, Federer, the Williams sisters.
Yeah.
That was pretty much, I didn't even know Alcaraz. Like, that's how.
Okay.
But that US Open, I saw Alcaraz, Ben Shelton. I saw Ben Shelton serve, and I was like, Jesus. And I was like pretty close up in Arthur Ashe.
You don't see it.
159 miles? That's a bullet. The way he his serve's very unique as well. Like the way he generates power. I saw that. He was playing Tommy Paul. Oh my. I remember that. 149 miles. I remember that serve, and Tommy Paul just looks at him and just like claps on his racket. Like,
it's nothing to do with that.
You can't do anything. And I've always wondered how, as a receiver, like, you hit anything above 140 miles. Like, it's almost like
I don't know.
Like, it's almost like a snap of a reflex, and off you go.
Yeah, it's about this quick decision.
Yeah.
You just
track the ball, and I'm before the
sometimes
even
you just
bounces.
try to guess. Sometimes you can see like the way how they toss. Sometimes you also know because before every match, you take your opponent, the statistic where
you study the opponent.
Yeah, like where let's say this player likes to serve more on the juice, on the advantage, and the important points. So this you all trying to
gotcha
in your mind, and then you try to play with it. For women, women tennis, of course, it's different because the serve is there are few players who are serving like extremely fast, and you just need to accept. And then you need to be ready for the moment when there will be, for sure, one game will be less good, just a little bit, but you need to be ready in that moment.
Gotcha.
And obviously to keep your serve, which is another challenge.
Who's the toughest opponent you faced in your life? Like that one person who always caused you like, Jesus Christ, like this is tough. This is always tough for some reason.
honestly, like, I mean, of course, it would be normal to say, well, Sabalenka is my last match. Like, she's the champion. She's a great player. So the strength and power she has in her shots, I never experienced that.
Mm.
It's really fast. It's really powerful. It's heavy. You feel it.
Mm.
Maybe also, of course, the atmosphere around was like putting some pressure. Like, you feel a little bit small in such a big court, and everything. When you're a little bit stressed, everything seems faster, bigger. So maybe that was something to that. But I heard actually there was some statistic that her shots are more powerful than Sinner's shot. That was like not because the guys are giving more spin.
Yeah.
And there she's like full power.
Sinner's very delicate when he plays. Like
he can do whatever he wants on court. But otherwise, can't really come up with some specific player. Just because with Arena played my last match, so definitely was something different.
Yeah, it's when I went to US Open, I remember I saw what's his name, Taylor Fritz, all of these people, and like I started following them, and I started seeing the hotels they were staying at and all this. It just looked like this. Wow, like this life of luxury as a player, right? Alcaraz, Sabalenka, Taylor Fritz, but what is it like for the other players?
So when you're top 100, generally then you play all the big tournaments like Grand Slams, Masters. So to understand it better, basically where all the players you just mentioned, you play same tournaments with them. Usually the hotels, the organizations is like top. You have, great hotels, restaurants, they give you luxury food.
So is that, who pays for that though?
This is a tournament, but only for a player. So if you're a main draw, you have, it depends which tournament, but sometimes they give you like 3 nights they paid. And then if you keep winning, they keep paying. If you lose, you have this night, you sleep still on cost of a tournament, then you have to pay for yourself. For a coach, you pay. But yourself, or whatever, you have a big team, physios, coaches, family, this is all on you. They provide you with beautiful cars, depends of the sponsors. They do your laundry, they give you have your on the badge allowance for food. They usually provide you good food, like on the big tournaments. But to get to that, you need a lot of money, years, dedications to get to that level. Imagine only 100 players in the whole world can be there. The problem is the other side, where it's a less good tournaments, where you pay for yourself, flights, hotels, food for your coach. I'll give you a number. Maybe you need a good 100K a year.
100,000 euros?
Yeah.
A year.
And it just, okay. I think now it's even more because the inflation is so high. But like when I used to play, like need to make sure to have a 100K a year to. But that's the thing. If you lose, I remember I was talking this recently to someone, remembering different type of tournaments. And one tournament I played in France, in Cherbourg, it was small, like 25K, and I was in qualification, and I lost first round, and I was not sure about if I get some prize money or not. Like I was even feeling like, so I went to check, and they gave me a paper, and they gave me €2.50. And I was feeling so weird. Like I was like, it's not even good enough for
€2.50.
Oh yeah, this is like the prize money. And I remember back to the time, because I couldn't really pay a good salary to my coach. We had a deal with percentage. If I make like the more how I do, like the more money I win on tournament, then I just give a percentage to my coach. This is how I could pay him. So it's like a win-win. And then I remember I was having this €2.50. I came back. He was waiting in the car in parking lot. I sit in the car and I'm like, here's your percentage. I'm sorry, this week was rough. So that's now it's funny to remember, but this is the reality. You have lots of expenses, but if you don't win, you don't earn.
I find this so fascinating because it's the irony of life. Like when you start out at anything, that's when you need the capital. That's when you need the support, the mentorship, and that like at that point you feel like you're not getting any of it.
Yeah.
And you have to figure out a way to do it. But then when you, let's say, reach the top or you're in that realm, you get given everything.
The money comes.
Like, the money comes, the sponsors come.
The crazy also, yes, sometimes I've been in the situations when, let's say, some federations, some sponsors, brands, they would be like, okay, if you reach top 100, we give you money for this and that, or like it's a bonus if you do this. And I'm like, it's good, but then it's not that I don't need money, but that, like, I need now to pay coach, to pay expenses, to pay for, all my expenses. And usually this is what you said, like, it's funny how it works. Yeah. You get more when you're actually having already, like,
you're good. And they're like, I don't really need another Babolat racket. Like, I've got 15, but cheers, I'll take another one. Okay, sure.
Yeah, I was always spoiled. That's the thing, when I stopped, I was like, no more packaging in my home, because I was having always sponsors during all my career. And it's like 4 times a year you always receive, some goodies.
I miss that so much. Like, this package shows up and you're like, what's in here? Let go. And it's like Christmas every 4 months.
Yeah. Get spoiled.
Yeah. But that's your tennis life. Post-tennis, you have a business.
Yeah, I do.
And it's called Savage Love Candles.
Yeah, just show you some here.
Look at that.
I decided to show you a few what I have.
And you make these?
Yeah,
handmade.
I am making them with this magic hands.
Yeah.
So I started to do this during COVID times when I had, so much time, like, to think of what I'm gonna do with my life. But because I was, a lot of still stress with this COVID quarantine, you cannot leave your house. It was back to the time I was in Belgium, and it was very strict rules. And I was learning new things. I was, learning how to do makeup, how to bake, how to cook. And then I saw on internet one blogger, she was like, oh, I made a candle. And I'm like, oh, you can make a candle? Okay, I'll try. So I ordered, on internet, just the tools to make 1-2 candles. I did it. It was fun process. I really started to enjoy, like, it's like my meditation. You're just in your own world and you're doing it. And then you work sometimes I work with the soya wax, the natural wax, with the scents, with the colors. And it's like really like fun process. But it just started as like a hobby. And then slowly, I was also doing back to the time, the Google gave this marketing management, like PR, like for branding. So I was taking different courses, and I was like, okay, I do candles. How can I maybe I learned something new on branding. How can I do it? How I can combine it. And this is how I started.
Yeah.
And obviously the tennis started to came back in my life, the tournaments, competition, everything. But when I was at home, I was doing candles.
Oh.
Started slowly, small, and then bigger and bigger. And then basically in the last 3 years, I was living in Germany. And when I stopped my career, I got into it more. And I've had 3 spots in Düsseldorf where physically you could buy candles. I started to make master classes of how to create candles. So I was doing 8 to 10 girls. We were having our girls' time, and I was showing them how you can make candle, a little bit of snacks, a little bit of getting to know each other. So I was doing time to time this. It was really interesting. I loved to show this and share my my meditation, my happiness, and the girls really start to love it. So yeah, and getting into it, it's small, but it's something what I love to do. I love it so much.
Wow.
I'm just a big fan of my own brand.
As you should. As you should. You got to be your own biggest fan first.
I am. I swear, I'm a bigger fan of my candles than I was a fan of my tennis career.
Wow.
That's interesting. I'm so proud of it.
Well, it's something brand new, and you taught yourself that without all the external pressure that was probably on you, and you chose your own direction.
Actually, this also candles, back to the time when I was still playing, it helped me because you play, you always compete, and you always feel this pressure that the only thing you do in your life, for me, was tennis. And then when I started to do candles, I kind of put away the pressure from my shoulders, saying well, there could be something else than just tennis, afterwards, so it was a nice way to put a pressure away, saying I'm actually able to do other things. I can be interested in other things. So candles helped me to see the other perspective generally in life.
Yeah.
So that was a good tool for me, how to handle stress and pressure during my tough moments in tennis career.
Savage love, does that have to do anything with your tennis career, the name?
So I had to come up with a brand name, right?
Yeah.
And back to that time, it was very popular song, Savage Love.
Yeah.
And there was a TikTok and everything. And then I just liked the word savage, but for me it's something also about myself, that I wanted to combine my candles and tennis, and it was savage is more about my tennis competitive side, and love, it's kind of reminds me about me when I'm in my private life. So I was that's something that I want just to show, that you can feel loved and calm in our very crazy times, sometimes. So I just
and still be savage.
And then I was Savage Love Candles, and it sounds good.
Yeah. Get your Savage Love candles using the link below. Plug.
Ta-da!
Yeah, so to wrap it all up, I have a few sort of questions that I feel like will be very helpful for the audience, but also just myself. So if you could speak to your younger self now, going back to Maryna at 14, what would you tell her, knowing what you know now?
There will be always people who will judge you.
Yeah.
Always. No matter what you do. You sit, they tell you to stand, you stand, they tell you to sit, And so this is just, sometimes I know it's difficult to be okay, don't care about the opinion of others, but this is your life. This is your scenario. Write it, this is your book. Just write it, because whatever people tell you doesn't matter. in the end, it's your life, your journey, to enjoy the process, to enjoy the present. Because there is always an end to something, small or big things. And if we don't live fully, then I think you get to the point when you regret about something and don't want to regret. So definitely don't be afraid of doing things, try new things, do it your way, because as I said, there'll be always someone will tell you something. I am actually like, I would tell this to my younger self, but I'm still keep telling this to myself now, because sometimes I have this thing of like, oh, what she or he or they will think. Maybe but no, just do it for you. Again, that's your life.
What advice would you have for younger tennis players right now who are sort of going through that, that journey of trying to become a pro, given especially nowadays how competitive it is, how it's arguably even tougher now for the younger guys coming up? Because I was looking at some research and stuff, and it's like a lot of them suffer from depression very early on in their careers, very early on, like during the teenage years and stuff, because of the pressure and everything that comes with it, especially now that it's so commercialized.
Yeah.
So what advice would you have for those young kids who are coming up, want to go pro, in terms of dealing with pressure?
That's a good one, because there are like so many things. But I feel like no matter what I would tell, unfortunately, it just doesn't hit like the mindset of others. You really need to go through your way, through your journey. And the idea that's okay if you fail, like that's okay if you lose. It's okay if something doesn't go your way. What is not okay is on how you respond to it. Like if you respond negatively, if you, kind of having this giving up on your goals or dreams, or like to really be your best friend, and to let yourself to fail. I know it's weird, but as soon as you start to learn from the fails, when they say like sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. I feel like if you really, as early in your age, you get to that point, the better it is, because then you're actually growing much faster. Because then, like the foundation, like a house, slowly you're building it. But if you don't learn from your fails and you're just being, like taking it personally, then there's no progression in it. But that's more like probably to this generation who's already into the mindset when they decide, I want to be a tennis player, I want to be good at this, I want to be a champion. This is like this mindset slowly getting into. But when you just start, just enjoy. It's just a game.
Yeah.
My coach was always telling me when I was making it too complicated, he was making jokes, a bit silly, because like, Maryna, it's easy. You just put this yellow tennis ball over the net in this box. That's it. Just you do it one time more than your opponent. It's just a game. You will not die if you put it in the net. It's okay, just a game. Of course, it's tough to realize it when you are into this pressure and everything, but in the end, it's just a game.
I love that, because in cricket, that was the same thing. But at work, corporate life, you know how people are like, oh, this should have been completed yesterday, and like the deadlines are, we need to get things done for the client like ASAP. And sometimes you have like these pressure situations which almost feel made up, because what are you doing for the client, especially like in consulting or like some of these kind of roles? Like you give a recommendation to a client and that's it. That's what the research and everything, all the hard work you're doing. it's going to be a recommendation. And
it's like you need to work smart, not hard.
Exactly. But at the same time, me and one of my friends used to discuss, like, we're not saving lives here. So let's just calm down.
I know, yeah.
But
that's true.
In corporate environments, people don't see it that way.
Same way with the athletes.
Bingo. So when I flipped that mindset to cricket, I was like, oh, it's only a game.
Yeah,
if only I knew that.
Yes, coaches were telling me. That's why I'm saying I was so lucky, because they were putting this in my mindset. Someone told me once, Maryna, like, again, just a game. Like, you're doing such a big deal out of it. Like, I know it's your life, but you're not doing a heart surgery. You're not saving someone's life. It's just, you lost today, tomorrow you have another match. Like, just analyze it, take lessons and move forward. I know, but you need to get to that point. I think this is where the very good athletes are good at. They're taking it step by step.
Yeah. One of the questions I'm fascinated with is, what did pain teach you that success never did?
What did pain teach me?
What did pain teach you, or something that pain taught you that success never did?
That's a deep one. You could send me this before our podcast so I could think about
it. And this is the reaction we want to capture: authentic you.
You have only one body. Like, you have one life, one body, and you need to have it for all your life, for the rest of your life, And the pain really taught me that you really need to take care of it. You really need to listen to your body, to give it rest when it's needed, to see those little signals which your body gives you, because for me, you see, pain, it really comes to my body feeling. Like, otherwise I was lucky enough I didn't have any other kind of a mental pain or something. It was always about the body wise, because the thing that success, it can really sometimes, like, you can succeed, but you can kind of destroy yourself for success. And then in the end of the day, because I've experienced it on my own, when I just stopped tennis, and I stopped taking painkillers, and the first 4 months were terrible. Couldn't sleep, couldn't sit, couldn't laugh, couldn't do much. And I have a room where all my trophies and pictures and everything. And I once came into the room and I was looking at those trophies, and I'm like, please just take all these trophies away from me. I don't want any success of, like, I was really hating what I was doing, and like, I was hating tennis, I would say, because I've had so much, pain. So I know we all want to succeed through and go through lots of things, and this is what I have, fortunately or unfortunately, in me, because sometimes you go through it, but in the end of the day, you need to think about your mindset, healthy mindset, your body, your health, your family, your loved ones, and to appreciate these things, because success, I feel like it's come and go, but yourself, your health, your body, your loved ones, your families, they're with you every single day, and you need to live your whole life with it. So success is nice, but it's not forever. So you need to keep this in your mind, that what is priority and what is on the second part,
That's one of the best answers I've had. And it's good you didn't prep for it.
I don't know. Sometimes when you ask questions and I'm like, this is in my mind, but how can I get to that point? So sometimes I start from like, let me tell you a story, and then I comes to there.
But you landed.
I landed.
But Maryna, this has been so much fun.
It was.
And I've learned so much. And your story is incredible. And to see where you are, what you're doing in Dubai. I mean, if we start talking about Dubai is amazing. It actually is. So
it is. I've changed 6 times countries.
Yeah.
That's my 6th move. And I tell you that's...
So from where to where? Ukraine, Belgium?
First was America in Texas. Then,
Texas?
Yeah, I was there like for a year.
Okay.
Belgium for most of my years. That's my home country, second home.
Yeah.
Then 1 year in Spain, Barcelona, Germany, Düsseldorf. And I moved a lot of times within Belgium. Now Dubai and these countries. It's nice.
Wow.
It is nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to see what's coming up for me here in this crazy city.
It is. There's a lot happening. It's such a beautiful city. There's so much happening in terms of... There's a lot of hustle. There's a lot of enjoyment. You have to find that sweet spot between the two because you can get drifted either way very quickly.
You need to find your balance. And this is what I'm learning to do here because there are way too much things happening, not as in any other cities I've been living in. So you need to learn how to live in this crazy city. As soon as you find your balance, you will find your happiness for sure.
Wow. That's the best way to close it. Thank you so much for coming on and taking the time.
Thank you so much for inviting.
Ladies and gentlemen, Maryna Zanevska.